So today I'm going to be telling you all the story of my absolutely terrible 4th grade teacher. And when I mean terrible, I mean this guy was the fucking worst teacher that I have ever had to date. I've had a lot of bad professors, bad teachers, but this guy takes the motherfucking cake for being worst teacher I've ever had. But before I tell the story, like usual, I'm going to give you guys a bit of backstory. So up until 4th grade, I had pretty much been like a model student, I guess. I had straight A's every single grade going up to 4th grade, but I was also a kid that had pretty severe anger problems. That being said, being put with a really terrible fucking teacher didn't really mix too well, as you might imagine. To my knowledge, this teacher had a pretty good reputation. A lot of people liked him. He was loved by many. He didn't really have a past of being a shitty teacher. So I'm not really sure what happened to make him a bad teacher. Maybe he was going through some type of divorce. I really don't fucking know. I guess I just kind of got the shit end of the stick in life once again with this teacher. But let's get to the story. The first day of school arrives. I'm really excited. I'm happy as a motherfucking clam. I'm just ready to be a part of, like the upperclassmen of elementary school. I was in the 4th grade now, so I wasn't like that 3rd grader anymore. Now it kind of felt as if we were cooler than all the other kids below us. I don't know, that's just how it was at the time. Anyways, I show up to his class and he's a really nice guy. He's a cool teacher. Everyone's liking him. He's really dope. He talks to us about the coming year ahead of us, blah 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 blah. I go home, I tell my parents about this awesome teacher that I have. They're happy for me like usual. But then he kind of started changing. It seemed as if as the days went by, he turned into more and more of a dick. For the sake of myself, I'm gonna call this guy Mr. Douchebag because that's exactly what he was. He went from being this really nice teacher who was caring about his students to someone that seemed to be really fucking angry all the time. Someone that would just constantly be mad about something. In elementary school, for those of you that probably know, they call kids to the board all the time to solve problems. And for some reason, from whatever day on, he decided that if a kid got a problem wrong, that he was gonna get so fucking angry about it that he would scream at you at the top of his fucking lungs. I probably watched this guy make over 15 or 20 kids cry, and mind you, we had a class of probably about 40 students, so that's pretty much half the class that he made cry. And obviously that started to happen to me. I remember one day I was sitting in class, just doing my best to kind of avoid him because he's scary as fuck, and he called me because I wasn't paying attention to come to the board to solve a problem. Sure enough, I got that problem wrong, and for some fucking reason, this guy took it upon himself to go absolutely red in the face and in front of everyone call me stupid, call me an idiot. He asked me why I'm not able to solve such a simple problem, and he yelled and yelled and yelled at the top of his fucking lungs until I broke down in tears in front of everyone. And mind you, solving a problem is already bad enough because you have to be in front of the entire class. Getting one wrong is already so much worse because then you're getting one wrong in front of the entire class and you feel kind of stupid. But then I had this big ass grown man yelling at me right probably about 2 or 3 inches from my fucking face, asking me why I'm stupid and why I can't get this problem right. So to say the very least, as a 4th grader, mind you, I was in the 4th grade, so what was I, probably 10 years old or something, that was enough to make me break down in fucking tears, as 15 or 20 kids before me already had done. And I cried in his face and I had no answers for him because all I could do was fucking cry, and he proceeded to just keep screaming and keep screaming and keep screaming until eventually he let me go back to my desk and sit down. At this point, I feel like a fucking idiot because now I've cried in front of my class, so I look like a baby, and I also managed to get that problem wrong, which was great because I was supposed to be such a good student at the time. So it kind of broke me being a 4th grader who can't really handle too much shit at the time. And I went home that day and I was too embarrassed to even tell my mom about it because I kind of felt like a baby for even crying in the first place. So I just avoided the whole hey, my teacher just made me cry today talk as best I could. And as the school year went on, this teacher made me cry probably at least another 10 or 15 times, all I'd say scattered out about 1 week apart. Another instance of him bullying me until I cried was when we had a in-class writing prompt, and during the class you'd write and he'd kind of read through them one by one. They were really short, and he called me over in front of the entire class and asked me why I put the wrong punctuation point down in 3 different spots on our little paragraph thing, and he proceeded to scream at me and get so fucking upset that I'm not even kidding you, he was blood red in the face. And mind you, this was probably about the 9th or 10th time he made me cry in front of everyone, all for pretty much similar reasoning, you know, getting a problem wrong on the board, writing an essay wrong, just stupid shit that no one should ever get mad about. But like I told you before, when I was a kid, I had some pretty serious anger problems, and for some reason that day, I decided to just fucking snap on this teacher because I was sick and tired of crying over stupid ass shit that I shouldn't have to cry about. And while he's making me cry in front of all these kids, I remember just getting madder and madder and madder. And I went from crying to feeling this ball of rage just come up into my body, and I fucking snapped. I remember looking him dead in his eyes and screaming at the top of my fucking lungs, "Maybe it's because you're a terrible fucking teacher, you idiot!" It was at that moment that the entire class fell completely silent because no one had ever stood up to this teacher ever before. Not a single person had the balls to say anything to him. All we really had the balls to do was cry. So everyone just fucking froze. So he stood up from his chair and immediately just snapped on me. He said, "What the fuck did you just call me, you little piece of shit? No one will speak to me like that. No one." And I remember he reaches over and screams at me, still is calling me all these fucking names, and grabs a 10 or 20 pound textbook and hurls it right at me. This textbook thankfully did not hit me in the fucking face, because if it did, with all the power that was behind it, it probably would have broke my fucking neck. But it ended up whizzing right past my face and smacking the ground, making the loudest noise I still have ever heard in a classroom. It was just boom. At this point, all of the kids get up and start screaming, thinking that I'm about to be fucking murdered, and they start running around the classroom trying to get out, shuffling out, and he's still snapping on me, at which point I take the fuck off. I run all the way out of that classroom and run straight to the principal's office because I think that I'm about to be fucking murdered. So I make it to the principal's office, tell him this entire fucking story, exactly what happened, exactly what's been going on, because I'm sick and tired of him making all of these people cry. And the principal's like, okay, just sit in my office, I'm gonna go talk to him until everything gets figured out, you stay here. And I did, and he went and had his little talk with Mr. Douchebag. I have no idea on what was said to Mr. Douchebag, but it definitely was not enough, because I don't think this principal kind of understood exactly what had just happened. I don't know if he like fully believed me, because the next day when I went back to school, guess who was still there, not fired, doing A-O-fucking-K? Mr. Douchebag. From that day forward, he put me right in the front of the entire classroom, put my desk right at the front, and would call on me all the fucking time. He probably made me cry at least 3 or 4 more times before I ended up actually going to my parents and talking to them about it, because I no longer had the desire to go to school and was getting so afraid to go to school that I was starting to refuse to go. So I talked to them about it, and my mom ended up snapping on this fucking principal. She ended up chewing him the fuck out, asking why he hasn't been fired yet, blah, 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 blah. And the principal still did nothing. Did not fire this teacher, didn't do shit, didn't move me classrooms, and didn't offer to move me classrooms. Being absolutely terrified as a 4th grader and starting to hate school, in the middle of the school year, I decided to have my mom move me to a complete other school. I had to move to another school across my entire city. Being in the 4th grade, that's not really the best time to move schools, because you've kind of made friends up from 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th, and then you have all your like friends that you've accumulated over the years. So I had to move to another school, start completely over, not have any friends, and it fucking sucked. But I was super happy to move schools. Anyways though, the last day of school, he walks up to me, kneels down on one knee for dramatic effect, also because I was short as fuck, and goes, "Summer, are you moving schools because of me?" I'm like, "Nope. No, I'm not." I honestly should have been like, "Yeah, haha, fuck you, yeah, that's why I'm moving." But me being the socially awkward person that I was, I decided to lie and say that no, that's not why I'm moving schools. While all this is going on, he pulls out this big, gigantic screw about this big around. He said, "I was just walking through this construction site this morning and I saw this big screw and I picked it up and I pocketed it because it was just so cool. It was actually a screw about this big. It was actually one of the biggest screws I've ever seen." But anyways, he says, "I just want to give you this screw as kind of like something to remember me by, you know, I just thought it was really cool. I thought you might like it." And I was like, "Wow, yeah, thanks a lot for the screw that you gave me. Thanks." Why did he give me that screw? I really, to this day, have no idea. Was it because he maybe thought that he like screwed me over, or was he just being a fucking weird 4th grade teacher? I'm not sure. I just find it really weird that he was like, "Hey, I know that you're moving away and all, but like, here's this screw." What do you mean? So yeah, there's the story of my absolutely fucking terrible 4th grade teacher that possibly almost killed me by throwing that textbook at my head. If you made it this far in the video, I appreciate you big time. Leave a like, subscribe, follow me on all my social media below. Anyways, until next time guys, peace.